Hello and welcome to the first video in the series, which is auditioning. I know it's not really the first in series of how the process works, but this is the one that I get asked about a lot, so we're just gonna get it out of the way to begin with. I do have notes so that I can stay focused with you, so when I'm looking down, that's what's happening. The very first thing that's gonna happen when you get an audition, be it for a film or a commercial or a music video or as a model, is you're gonna do your homework. What are they looking for? Do they want a self-tape? If so, by what date? Do they want, are you coming in person? If so, where are you going? Make sure that you've mapped it out. Is this something that you're willing to do? Look up the casting director, see what other things that they have casted for. As a designer, what shows have they been in before? What movies have they done before? And don't just look on IMDb. That's absolutely a very good resource. IMDb, International Movie Database. And that one has a list of a lot of people. But if you're doing a commercial, commercials aren't on IMDb. So make sure that you do a bunch of research as much as you can so that you're familiar, so that when you walk in, you can say hi and kind of make conversation and have that little extra piece. And when you're self-taping, know your frame. The second thing that you need to do is study your sides. So the script is actually the entire thing of a film, movie, anything that's written, the whole thing is your script. The side is the little piece that you get. And so you want to have your sides, read through them all completely, be very familiar with what's going on. As a model, read through all the requirements that they ask for, because there are definitely standards, but then they might ask you to wear something specific or have your hair in a certain way or other changes that happen. So be very familiar with what you're doing. If you're doing a commercial, absolutely know the product, know what you are supposed to be selling, especially if they want some improvisation, which definitely happens. You have to be able to talk about it. So don't let the only thing you know about the product be what they have written. I have done multiple improv commercial auditions, some that I have booked and some that I have not. And it is all about knowing what you're talking about to be an effective performer in that realm. The other thing you need to do is get a reader who does not have to be professional. When you do a self-tape, the other person that's reading with you does not have to be an actor. Tip number 3. Oh, what number are we on? This one, once you've gotten the audition, you've read through your sides, you know what you're gonna do, what are you going to wear? If you're gonna do a self-tape, absolutely no patterns or logos. A solid color, such as this, hair out of the way always, in person or otherwise, and low makeup. So we wanna see your features. So if you're blonde, for instance, do some color on your eyebrows or, just a little blonde pencil so that we can make sure that you actually have features. If you're a redhead, especially as well, make sure that we can see what you look like. I've been a casting director as well for celebrity music videos and whatnot, and so this is what we're looking for. If you're doing a self-tape, make sure that you are lit. Find a place in your house. This does not have to be a fancy area. It just has to be able so we can concentrate on you. Know your framing, like we said. Also, if you are in person, for models, you're gonna have a black tank top and jeans or leggings on the bottom. No rips, no tears, no frays for anybody, actors or models, in person or on tape. You also do not have to dress like the character necessarily. Tip number 4 is when you have your sides, right, that you've done your homework on, you know the character, you've been able to make acting decisions, you want to bring it with you if you have an in-person audition or even if you're reading on a self-tape. You want to, instead of having them like this, you want to have them here so that you can kind of look to the side if you need them. And if you don't need them, that's fine. You can just talk with your hands with it. But what it does is it shows the casting directors that you are free and open for feedback. And so if they say, oh, can we start from here, but do it a little bit more aggressively or whatever, then you can go and you can find it, no problem. And you don't have to rack your brain and go, yeah, it's not impressive that you know it. We expect you to know the sides that we gave you. So that's not the impressive part. It's like when a waitress doesn't take your order and you just wonder a little bit if they're going to get it right, even though they have it in their mind. If they had just written it down, whether they need to or not, it sets a precedence for you that they've got it. And that's the same thing when you have the sides. That also means that you're not just going to stop and quit, because if you can always just take a look. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do is if you get a callback, woohoo, you've auditioned, now you're going to do a callback. This is for actors and models. Works the same way. Sometimes you get booked directly off the audition. Sometimes you have to come back and do a callback. And what that entails is just more work. There are various reasons that you might get a callback, but the point is you want to wear the same thing. Wear the same thing that you did to your audition to your callback. It will make them remember you and it will bring them into that light. They liked you to begin with, that's why they called you back, so you want to optimize on that. Have your hair the same way, have your makeup the same way, have your clothes the exact ssame shirt, go home and wash it, and then show up the next day if that's when the callback is. And what you want to do as well is the same performance. So if you're reading your sides and they say you performed it as if you've never had this argument before and it's a fresh thing and you have all this built up emotion, do not come to your callback and do it as if you've had this argument 100 times and it's this deep emotion that's been set in your heart. Okay, this is the 5 minutes. Definitely stay tuned for the next one. We're going to start back at the top and do the casting process for how this works.